Hey guys, Monday, November 25th, 2024. Let's see what the Black Widow wants to do today. I want to start off with the market profile. Just kind of look at the big picture. This is our 364-ish high right here. And we haven't taken that out. But you can see that it's just making higher highs and higher lows. So this is what it looks like it wants to do. As long as we could take out that, your value area high is 532. Not saying it's going there right away, but very potential if that's what it wants to do, if it wants to go higher. Looking at the big picture. Going into the weekly, the bullish things that I see in that gas is that from the anchored VWAP of the 1002 high of August, 23rd, 22nd, is that it's above the anchored VWAP. So that is very, very bullish. If you look at that right here, you have the value area high. If you notice, there is some kind of resistance here. It's having a tough time. Let's see, maybe if I could get a better zoom here, or zoom out maybe. Yeah, maybe just a little bit. You can see that this area right here, it starts building up in regards to resistance, and that's why we're getting a little choppiness. You're above value area high, above point of control. I mean, there is another value area high, I believe, somewhere up here. It's at 619. But then you got this big gap. You got this wall over here you got to worry about. That's like around 4-ish. But we'll take baby steps. But so far, in regards to the weekly, you're above the anchored VWAP. So that is bullish. Once we get below that, then that's sign of weakness. Like here, we couldn't get over it here. We couldn't get over it here. But now we're over it here. So now things are a little different. Volume is increasing. Bullish volume, obviously. And if we go to the daily, I had to expand it because 1 year now wasn't really showing me anything significant. So I had to go to 3 years. So between the 3 year and then the weekly, which is a 5 year, you can see that the value area high is 391. You see that there is some resistance here in this area right here. And you're above point of control. And you know what? You are above the anchor VWAP from, you know what? February 20 of the 152 low. So that is bullish. Well, at least you're on the right side of the trade if you are assuming that it's going higher. So it is going in the direction that you are bullish, which is above the anchored VWAP. So that is good, and that's bullish. I just want to show you the things that are bullish here. That's undeniable. Although it's now getting a little choppy here, we got to see how it's going to get resolved. And we know Thanksgiving is coming, a holiday that they celebrate in the US. So things are slowly going to start diminishing in regards to volume as we get closer to Thursday. So keep that in mind when you place your trades. Now, looking at the simple glance, let's just zoom out a little bit. I am using Hikanashi candles here. So the trend is positive, PPS buy signal. We're dancing around the 100, and we are below the 20 and the 200 and the 50 SMA. We got a linear regression channel that's coming here. So far, the MACD is positive. So these are two moving averages you want to watch: is the 200 and the 50 on the monthly. But you are above the 20, and you got a PPS buy signal, and everything looks very bullish on the monthly. On the weekly, same thing, very bullish MACD, you are above the cloud, which is very important. On the monthly, we are not above the cloud, but on the weekly, which is your mid time frame, you're above the cloud. And notice the future of the cloud is positive as of now, or as of today. A positive MACD, PPS buy signal, mobiles are green, Kanashi candles are, this one is a little, negative, but the trend is still up. So this was positive, and now we got a negative weekly. You can say it's just showing resistance, but the trend is still up, which is showing you white. But the candle of the body is now full, meaning that there is a pullback, that it's in the works now. But the trend is still up. So that's how I look at it. Once it starts, the Hekanashi candles is full body and it turns red, that's when things get really, dangerous. But so far, like may pretend this is your high here, and this is this week. So once we get this, and then it's a domino effect going down. But so far, it's still holding. You could probably get this candle, which is this, and then next week get that, and then push even higher. So you got to be careful. But it's very positive. Looking at the daily, you're above all the moving averages. Let's see anything on the weekly. We are, I think, the only one you're gonna challenge is gonna be the 200, which is at 385. You are above all the moving averages except the 200. You got the linear regression channel here. That it's kind of the area where you want to take some off the table. Maybe leave half, little half, play with, leave half to play with the house's money, but you want to not be greedy and like still be, full position or whatever, how many contracts you got, and be like, yeah, we're still going to go higher and not take anything off. This is an area where, in my opinion, I will take some off and then play with the house until it gets maybe somewhere around here, this area. Then I'll load up again and see if it's going to do another leg higher. But this is where you get a little cautious, tighten stops, unless it's like a parabolic move, and that's different. Then it's just gonna like the dollar. Perfect example is the parabolic move the dollar just made. That linear regression channel was here and it just kept pushing higher. That's different. But when you start seeing a stall here, chances are it may turn, and then you load up the truck somewhere around here or in the midpoint or here. All right, so let's go into the daily. So far, the daily is positive. The Kanashi candles are positive. Trend is up. White color candles, positive. PPS buy signal kicked in on the 18th, and everything here. But we kissed the linear regression channel at 356, and it pulled back. May want to test it again, but just factor in the holiday. Volume is going to be light, and maybe it might just kind of go sideways here, or I don't know. Let's see. We'll take day by day. But so far, the MACD is positive. On the short time frame, what's bullish is that you are above the cloud. So you are bullish. You're above the value area high. And this is 3 years. As you can see that I need to expand this as like at the 3 year. So that's bullish. Let's go straight to our geometry. Obviously, I'm here. You can see that this is a retail Gann fan, and you're kissing the 1x2 already. This is the, it's weird because when retail uses it, they're not using it on a scale chart. So they're anchoring it at swing pivots. So according, with the way the retail will use it, this is your 45 because you're taking it from 2 different swing points, not from an actual 45 scale chart. So keep that in mind when you see this, the Gann fan. That's why I call it the retail Gann fan, because they're seeing this, and this is their 1x2, and we kissed it at 356, and now you're in between here. APF, you kiss your midpoint which is from these two swings. So obviously resistance, once you kiss the midpoint, we pulled back, we pierced it. So you're in between the 25 and the 50 right here. I'm not going to show too many of this. The channel, you're in the channel here too. So this is some support right here. I kept the original channel of this trend, seeing pull back. You could probably expand this and maybe cover it over here, but I want to see how good this trend is, if it could hold the original trend from here that started. And so far we kissed your midpoint right here, and now trying to see if we could find support at that 229-ish around there. Let's see. FT levels are good because we're above it. The 3-5 high, this is your first impulse. Well, you could say the second impulse. 45, and you're hanging around the 1x2 there. Gap fill. We do have a gap fill that just happened now with the open on Sunday night. Measured move. This one's interesting. So let's see if we can zoom in a little bit here. So your measured move, one of the measured moves that I have is 379. So can this potentially continue to 379, you know, from here before Thanksgiving? Very possible. You know, we probably might have to do it between today, tomorrow, maybe Wednesday, factoring the holiday, but, or maybe after, or maybe in trend to do that. Yeah, but that's a target, 378, and it's very possible. So I'll show you there of a possible target. Using the measured move trend lines, we are above the trend line, so obviously that's good. And SQ levels 345, we pierced it, and now we're below it between 3 and 345. And maybe lastly, my SR, we kissed 351 and the 356, and now we're between 306 and 351. Let's go into our midpoint chart, and let's start off with the yearly pivot on the weekly chart, and you can see that we penetrated that midpoint of the year, and it's still in that grayish area because we're still hovering around the midpoint of the yearly pivot, and we're in between 317 and 347, lingering around there. Stokes bubbles are positive. Stokes are positive on the weekly. Let's go into our daily using the monthly pivots, and we're already at the extreme level, which is 343. That's a key level, and then you have support of this quadrant right here around 324. But so far, very bullish. Mobiles are still positive, and Stokes are now just kind of sideways, just doing some snapbacks as of now. The 4 hour now is painting a different picture. The 4 hour, we did our high of 356. TPS sell signal below the moving average, and open with a change of price action gap, not a change of contract, but price action gap, and opened higher with a gap, and now kind of losing momentum here, but above the moving average, but in the noise barrier, which is the chop fest. We got to have a close above 338 or a close below 320 to decide what's real, who's in control here in regards to the bulls or the bears. So if the bulls are going to take over, they need to push and have a close above 337, which they were doing it here, but then now they got back in. And for the bears, if they want to get really aggressive, they need to be below 319. So this is your weekly midpoint. So this is the line in the sand for this week. Stay up here on this side, bullish till Thanksgiving, good. Stay around this side from here to Thanksgiving and, you know, beyond, then there's some weakness or just sideways price action. And what's giving me the clue is that the mobiles are already showing me some sign of weakness. Even though we had price action gap, to me it seems like a dead cat bounce. But that's my opinion. What's positive here is that you're above this moving averages. So like you got this, 324 in your midpoint, 319 line in the sand, that everything could start doing a domino effect if it's going to follow the seasonality. And we know, well, I know the Commitments of Traders report, the last time I saw it, it was large speculators were bearish. So I still haven't had a chance to look at it. I'll probably look at it today. So when I do my close, I could talk about it, you know. But the 4-hour chart is probably the most important to find out who's got the edge. Is it the bulls or the bears? Right now, still in the PPS buy signal, but pulling back. So I don't know, maybe when the US opens, we, you know, push higher and retest 356, or sideways, or just, you know, drift here and maybe find support. Well, I mean, this is the week. You can say this is the 4 hours. So yeah, there'll be action here, but this is where you want to watch. 337 and 319. Unless it's going to be range bound within the 4 hour, but that's your big key levels to watch. And looking at, you know, that there is some weakness on the mobiles. And lastly, on the hourly, since I didn't give you my geometry charts and all that, just because I just didn't have the time to do that, I figured I'll get a little longer on the chart and just kind of explain what I'm seeing. So there we go. We got our, you know, price open gap exploded. So there was a lot of pressures from the bulls to buy. And now you are in the overnight holding the 50. So the midpoint today is 331. This is your midpoint for today only. And we were holding it until the London session. They started pushing it lower. Look at the doji. So it looks like maybe in the US session, they might try to climb back up, since it's showing some price conviction that it wants to go higher. So let's see, targets to the upside. We close this down a little bit. Extreme targets will be 381 for today. I don't know if that's going to happen. Your next one will be 368. Obviously, retest your high, so that'd be logical for the bulls, 356. But you need to get above at least 331 to do that. And then you're going to kiss your 75%, which is 343. So 331, 343, test the high, 356. And if you want to go extreme, 368. And the last target for today, 380. If this is all a head fake, and on the US, they're going to let it at least get to the 75, which is 343-ish, and then take it down. I bet you the target will be 307. That's your 45 on the square of 9, and that's where it held on Friday. If it doesn't bounce off of there, it could be range bound here. But if it doesn't bounce, if it bounces and then they take it out, targets to the downside would be 293 all the way to a 281, and then from there it can maybe start stepping down. I know that this is the week where possibly my models show where it turns. Some of the models that I've shown you have been following my weekly forecast. This is the week where it has potential to turn somewhere between around the Thanksgiving area. So be careful if you are bullish and holding long, is now this is where it gets very, very tricky. Seasonality indicates that this is where the possible turning point could be playing somewhere around this ballpark. Now, if it's going to ignore that, then it's going to continue going higher. And there's signs and there's evidence for both. There's evidence for the bulls for it to continue trending higher. And then there's also evidence for the seasonality guys and cycle guys. You could go, cycles are 50-50. Weekly is up. Daily, there's two that's mixed. Could be bearish, could be bullish. Seasonality is bearish. Commitments of traders report large speculators are short. So there's evidence for both. So this is where you gotta really be like, okay, if I'm a bull, these things need to happen or need to hold. If it doesn't, then I'm out. And if you are you're a bear, and you think, if I'm gonna try to go short here, these things have to happen. And you have to have your rules set in place and see the price action. Because at the end of the day, price action is king. You want to follow the price action. And so far, the price action right now, we have a high of 356, and we got a low of 307. And you got to decide where you think it's going to go. If it takes out that high, jump in and put a tight stop. Because then it's going to go higher. Maybe it could go to 378. And the Elliott wave, guys, I don't know what they count is. That's why it's, the way it is. But right now, the Elliott wave is showing this is a 3, waiting to pull in for a 4, and finally end up with a big bang on a wave 5 to the upside. So that's going against the large speculators. That's going against seasonality. So how you like them apples? Everything is like on its own planet, just doing its own thing. So that's why you have to kind of be aware of all of that, and then at the same token, see what price action is really doing, and set your set your war plan or whatever your game plan, what I'm going to do, for this week, or not even do anything at all. Just kind of see what happens from here, and wait to December, the first week of December, see where we're at. If we're trending lower from here, then you can see that maybe seasonality is going to play out, and the large speculators are right, that it's eventually going to come down, maybe fill the gaps and all that kind of stuff. And if it's bullish, for whatever reason, the weather, the wars that are going on, the Middle East, Ukraine, Russia, who knows, something that affects natural gas, demand or whatever, that it's going to, explode for higher prices, then is going to be like, no, I'm not going to follow seasonality. I am going to grind and push higher because this new thing is happening and it's affecting the price. That's the kind of world we are in right now. I'm going to sign out. Hope you like this video, and I'll keep you posted on my thoughts on that, guys.